fact that you undertook it is, that just says a lot about you.
Yeah, when you want to do something, how else do you, besides for just diving in? That's the only way that I know how to do anything, is just dive in and get after it. And it's like, how do you get to Z if you don't go through A, B, C, D, E, F, G,
Some people want to go from A to Z.
Yeah.
A lot of people want to go to A to Z.
I get the want, but I've never experienced success that way personally without doing the work. Like, you know what I mean? Like, how do you
Start in
get
the
there?
mailroom, learn it from the ground up.
Yeah, exactly. I'm thinking, I wonder if I should do it. Well, I guess so. Episode 48, technically.
Cool.
All right. Ready to go?
Yeah.
All right, so welcome back to The Awakened Void. Today is episode 48. Today we have a returning guest and I guess host of what we're trying to do now. We're going to start something called the Future Past Podcast.
See,
I knew I was going to mess that up.
No,
the Future Past Podcast,
Mm-hmm.
which is basically just going to be myself and Joel, two people with a age gap between us, talking about life and experiences as we know it from my perspective and from his perspective.
So how old are you?
42, I think. I have a real hard time remembering that. Yeah, I have a hard time remembering. How old are you?
61.
Oh, okay, so There we go. There's the gap.
Yep.
So how you been? How you doing?
Good.
Yeah?
Good. Yeah. Normal life challenges.
Yeah.
New granddaughter,
Okay.
10 months old. Dog that's 16 years old that's on his way out of life,
Okay.
about to transition.
Yeah.
And then just trying to figure out what God wants me to do with my life. Continue to minister to people, continue to serve him and do the best I can on a daily basis. What about you?
Same. Like I said, son's birthday was yesterday, so that was cool.
Congratulations.
We went up to the Da Vinci Center. He had a good time. I guess that's like a STEM science place. Super cool place. It's very unique. I would liken it to like Franklin Institute, but more science based. So yeah, he loved everything in there. It was a good time.
Nice.
There's some pictures of it and everything. So you're the first returning guest that I've ever had. Out of all people that I talked about coming back, you end up being the first. And, we met up and talked. And I would say, start developing a friendship, had some good laughs and just hanging out. So we just decided we both had interest in pursuing podcasts and creating content. So let's do it together.
I'm learning from you.
Yeah. So you've had some success in, where would you say most of your success has been at? TikTok?
Yeah, TikTok.
Yeah? Okay.
Overwhelmingly TikTok.
And what's the name of, how can people reach you on TikTok?
Oh, Chill All the Time.
Chill All the Time?
Chill All the Time.
Okay.
Or if you look under God and the number 2, Chill. God to Chill on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube.
Okay.
God to Chill, G-O-D, 2, and then Chill. Overwhelmingly TikTok.
Okay. Yeah, I looked into your TikTok because I'm not super heavy. I do post on TikTok. I know you see
I've
some,
seen it. Yeah.
But it's interesting. I don't want to call it post and ghost, but I actually don't look at TikTok. I post from a different platform where I just I can post everything and it shoots to everywhere I want it to shoot to. So I actually don't even know what's going on TikTok at all. I just do it just to be active on it. And sometimes I'll go back. I look back and I was like, whoa, this video has 11K views. I didn't even know some of them are just doing that well. Some of your videos did well, have like a few thousand views on it. Some of the ones that that when you were on the podcast, I don't even know. I don't look at it. I just do it just because, that's what you need to do with all your content is to put it on all formats. So I looked back and saw you had like 10,000, you're doing well.
Yeah.
They're on Facebook too, right?
Yeah.
Because you have some subscribers on Facebook. Yeah, so that's good. I mean,
I'm learning.
Yeah. I don't know if you're learning from me. I think we're learning from each other for sure. Because I would say that's the only thing that I've yet to be successful at. And probably because I haven't really been trying, is building an audience, because I just like the content part. I like the creation part of it. You really need a team to do what we're trying to do. But as you enter, obviously, you got to do most of it yourself before you're able to, I guess, finance that. But it helps to have a team to focus on different aspects of everything. Because if you're into just the creation, which is like an artist, I'm kind of like that, but trying to do it all is not easy.
Trying to be an artist, promote yourself.
Yeah.
Do the marketing.
Yeah.
But then also what's important, I found, is the engagement. Is that when people respond to your videos, to respond back.
Yes.
Even if you don't agree with them, just to say, thank you for watching. Thank you for taking the time to watch. I hope you'll watch more. Have a blessed day.
Yeah.
Yeah. That little bit could mean a lot to other people. And then they could pass it on to other people and say, hey, watch Sean or watch Joel.
Yeah.
And the fact that you take the time out of your day to value that they responded with a response.
Yeah. And that's interesting. The way you perceive what's happening is interesting and probably true too. But really, the algorithm rewards that as well, because the algorithm knows who's engaging and how long they engage in, and that's how they kind of prioritize content. So you're doing the right thing, basically, for sure, by reaching back to people.
Especially when you put questions out there.
Yeah.
If you put a question out there and people answer, they kind of, I believe, they want a response. So if you say, I don't believe, people want to get married nowadays or whatever, and that's your opinion, people might respond, oh, yes, we do. Yes, they do. I don't know where you got that from. Da, da, da.
Yeah.
And then you just coming back and say, well, statistics that I've seen online, with, the CDC or whatever, the Census Bureau says that, more people are getting married or more people are getting divorced or, things like that.
Yeah.
So just responding to that. And
Yeah. And the algorithm is going to prioritize that.
Right.
Yeah, because they know who's engaging and how and what they're engaging in. I liken it to it's like a big library, basically, and your content is the books. So it's like, imagine if you could go into a library and you grab whatever's first, and it's based on how the librarian puts the books out, and it's going to be by, say, title, what's most interesting. So say if you have some content that's just people don't engage with, they don't like for whatever reason, that's going to the back of the library, you know, and that's to never be seen again. It's going to be muted, it's going to be dark, you're never going to know about it. But if you have content that, the algorithm prioritizes, that goes to the front repeatedly. So like if you put an engaging or question like that, and it's going to keep pushing it to people more and more, even whether or not the people are actually interested in that, the algorithm thinks that they are. So they're going to get it, they're going to see it more. So
trending topics.
Yeah. Just figuring out. I'm still figuring. I don't know if it's figuring out more what the people want or what the algorithm wants, or is that's like a combination of both, I guess, basically.
It might be both.
Yeah.
It might be both because, but I think that if you put something out that you're interested in, that you're passionate about, you don't know if it might hit.
Yeah.
Because even though it might not, you might be the new trending topic, for whatever you're bringing out.
Yeah. Yeah, I've definitely seen some things. I put some clips out before that were just like, boom, just shot it out there and looked back and I was like, that's interesting. Yeah, absolutely. So let's dive into what we want to talk about today. Today we're going to talk about marriage, right?
Yeah.
Did we have, when we talked about it, did we have like specific topic how we were going to dive into, or was it just marriage? Or
there's so many variables because you could start off, do people still believe in the institution of marriage?
Okay.
The traditional marriage vows.
Yeah.
Richie, do you remember your marriage vow? I took them twice.
Oh, yeah?
And I still, so for richer, for poorer, and sickness and health.
What are they real quick? Can you mind looking them up?
Yeah.
Can you access them?
Let's see.
Say, hey Siri, what are traditional marriage vows? Oh. Was that your phone or mine?
That might have been yours.
Oh, that's amazing. It heard from all the way over there.
It's spying on us all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, can you believe that thing just picked up my voice whispering from 6-7 feet away?
That's crazy. Let me see.
Oh, you have them written down?
Oh, see, no, what they have is the different, what people's different vows are, because people change them. So I just put in marriage vows. And I don't know why it's taking me. You might as well just ask Siri.
Yeah, I know, right? Hey Siri, what are traditional marriage vows?
Traditional marriage vows are promises each partner in a couple makes to the other during a wedding ceremony, based upon Western Christian norms. These vows originate from religious texts or cultural practices and typically include pledges of love, fidelity, and mutual support. This is from Wikipedia and marriage.com.
Thanks, Siri. Appreciate that. We were kind of wondering what the actual vows are, right? Yeah. What the actual? What are the actual vows? What?
So do you take this person to be your something long, something wife?
I don't remember.
That's pretty sad.
Yeah, right. And
Between the two of us, we don't know.
marriage vow.
What are the words of the traditional marriage vows?
Oh, here I got it.
Okay.
I guess I'll be the one reading it.
Yep.
It says, traditional wedding vows. I take you, the couple promises to be with each other, to have and to hold. The couple promises a close bond that can't be broken. For better or for worse, for richer or for poorer, in sickness and in health, till death do us part.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it. I think I remember saying that. I'm not sure.
I said it.
Yeah. I said it.
I said it twice.
Yeah.
Because I'm divorced twice, but I think that there's so many variables that I think is contingent that I didn't. I think I was 27, maybe 28 by the time I first got married. And I think that looking back, just starts, if I'm going to start spiritually as a Christian,
Pull your mic up a little bit higher.
I probably didn't think that I was here. Mm-hmm. Cool. I probably wasn't evenly yoked.
Okay.
Okay. So when I'm thinking evenly yoked, that spiritually that we both believed in Jesus Christ as the Savior, that we both had very similar ethics and morals,
Yeah.
and a similar outlook on life, like just the part where social etiquette, social justice, those common beliefs. I don't think at 28 I really looked at it the way I should have, because if I did, it probably would have. My marriage lasted 9 years. We had 3 kids. There are a lot of good times, but I think as far as longevity and as far as investment and compatibility, had I looked at that one thing first spiritually, for me, is, are we or were we evenly yoked? And probably the second thing, which was a mistake, is getting intimate quickly. Even as a Christian, which you shouldn't do, sex before marriage, but having sex prior to marriage blinded me almost like Stevie Wonder to any.
I'm married.
I'll see any red flags.
Yeah,
right? You know, red flags. What? You know, and I think because
that's a good point.
If the intimacy is really good, we could make. I think I'm going to speak for myself. I made excuses. For some of the things. I'm like, well, no, that's not that bad. And that was catastrophic.
Yeah.
But that wasn't that bad. You know,
you're willing to overlook some things.
Oh yeah. You know, the handling or lack of handling of money decently, the selfless person versus the selfish person. So there were some things that were selfish about both of us that I didn't pay attention to, and then there were some things that transcended down the line with kids that you don't even care about when you're single. Like, well, not single, when you're just, husband and wife, you don't have kids.
Yeah.
But then the kids come. So some of the things, the basics of how we were raised, the differences, accountability, responsibility. So if you have people that aren't, you didn't have chores as a kid. You didn't clean up after yourself. Mom, dad cleaned up. You didn't do dishes. You didn't sweep. You didn't, make your bed. All of this stuff other people did for you. They enabled you, essentially.
Yeah.
So now you got kids, and you're not doing that stuff because you never had to. Mm-hmm. So you're looking to be taken care of. You're looking for somebody else to do. Hey, you gonna make the bed? Hey, you gonna take the trash? Who take roles and things like that?
Yeah.
So some people come in and you don't realize they're entitled until they have to do these things. Mm-hmm. Or hey, as a couple, you can go out and go to Ruth Chris and you go have these expensive dinners, right? Kids coming down, you got a budget. And you're like, oh, we're not going to Ruth Chris? What do you mean? Yeah. No, we can't afford Ruth Chris. We got 2-3 kids to feed. I can't get my nails, hair, and everything done every week. What are you talking about? What you talking about, Willis? Or on my side, I can't go play ball with the guys every day, every Saturday. Mm-hmm. No, we got to go to this birthday party stuff or whatever. Oh, I can't go get I can't go get these sneakers. No, those are $300 sneakers, man. We got a budget, man. We get the kids these sneakers first.
Yeah, you got to see when and if they're willing to make sacrifices.
And they didn't maybe they never had to.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they never had to.
Yeah.
But you didn't realize that. Right?
Yeah.
Because the vetting process, I just think is so important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's why they say, obviously this is dependent on situational, but like a first child and a first child, they suggest that these people do not marry each other because, they're more than likely going to be very selfish because they've only had to be cared for and care about themselves. And obviously, of course, it can work and probably does work, but...
So first child, and does that go with only child and only child?
I don't know all of them, but...
Okay, because I was going to say, an only child, they're getting all the attention.
Yeah, possibly, yeah. I know they just had some scenario combination of like first, second, third child, these people maybe avoid each other.
For my third marriage, I should probably...
Oh, was that first child?
No, when I get married again.
Oh, yeah.
I should check it. I say, excuse me, are you a first child?
Yeah, yeah, maybe. And then better, correctly, ask all the questions. You know what? I believe in premarital, what do they call it? It was like...
Counseling,
pre-cana?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think that I didn't have that, but, I've seen and heard about it. I think that should be almost like a stipulation maybe for all situations. Like before we both invest into this thing that we don't even fully understand, what we're getting into, this lifelong contractual obligation that we're diving into. Let's sit down and talk with somebody, and have this fully explained to us what this is that we're getting involved in. Same as any sort of contract. Like, let's read this thing thoroughly before we sign off.
I think it depends on age and maturity.
Yeah.
Right? You're in your 20s. You reading contracts as heavily? Are you going real?
Yeah.
A lot of people aren't.
Yeah, that's what.
Hey, baby, yeah. Oh, we're having, we're intimate.
Yeah.
Or we want to be intimate. That I think sometimes wanting to be intimate might speed up the process to get married a little even worse. Because now you're burning with passion.
Yeah.
Right. And so you're like, oh, I gotta wait till I'm married to do it. And so you're like, okay, when we get married? We get married like next week, a month? What, And so that could be just as dangerous too.
Yeah. I think sometimes, the good of now can feel like forever, and you get captivated by that. And then when you come to it and it's not that way, you're like, I gotta abandon.
A lot of people want a Disney existence. Mm-hmm. They want to be happy, right? They want to be happy all the time.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody says, I prefer long suffering, please. Right? I don't think anybody volunteered. I prefer long suffering.
A little bit of suffering.
Yeah. Give me cool.
Yeah.
Give me a teaspoon.
Uh-huh.
I'm not looking for like a vat of suffering.
Uh-huh.
You can't tell the future. So I think when we vet, you do the best you can. Mm-hmm. I went to pre-marriage counseling, both marriages. People sometimes will put their best foot forward.
All the time.
Okay,
right?
so there's some really good people that should be getting Oscars. Right? There's some really good actors and actresses that never received an award or a nomination.
But they deserving.
If I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, right, and I'm dating somebody, I may be able to keep that inside, right? Mm-hmm. You might not even know that I have some challenges, okay? Physically, mentally, whatever. So you're going to ask me, unless you ask me the right questions, I may not give you the responses. I might not just voluntarily say, you say, well, how's your health? My health's pretty good. How about you? I'm not going to tell you that I'm on a medication plan for all these, like I got all these different things that are keeping me stable enough to deal with you.
Yeah. Now
you might, afterward, maybe you're dating me, you come to the house, you kind of use your bathroom, and you get nosy, go to the medicine cabinet, and you go, ooh.
Yeah.
What's all this?
Yeah.
These are mood stabilizers, right? So, right. So then you go back out. You could play it cool, or you could be like, so, have you had any mental health challenges lately? Right? I don't know. But right? There's a lot of variables.
Yeah.
And then you don't know how people are going to change over time. Hey, you know, me and my wife, we working out. We're fitness, you know, nuts, right? We love a fit body and all this great stuff. Then we have kids. Okay, we're not getting to the gym as much, maybe, or we're not eating as well. You know, we're going to soccer and tennis and volleyball and all this stuff. We're eating fast food because we don't have time to go cook a meal. We got to get these 3 kids to all these different activities, right? Maybe there's a lot of gym widows. There's a lot of spouses I see at the gym where, you know, the guy's at the gym and the wife or the girlfriend doesn't go anymore. Or the woman's at the gym and the husband or the boyfriend doesn't go anymore. But initially they both were really into it. Mm-hmm. And one of them drops out of it. And maybe they're gaining, you know, a decent amount of weight, 20, 30 pounds. That might not be the person you married. Well, it is the person you married, but they've changed drastically.
Yeah.
Or or you met somebody and over time you start to notice they suffer from anxiety and depression. Mm-hmm. Or a bipolar disorder. Or maybe they look great for you, you know, growing up, but male or female, maybe they have an eating disorder that they never showed you. And then after you've been married a while, you discover it. And you try to hey, you should get help. You know, I'm going to support you. I just want to encourage you to get the help. Mind your own business. Because you're responsible for you, mm-hmm. right? And you're supportive of the other person, but you're not in control of the other person.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're not in control of you.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, Sean didn't drink before. When I met him, you know, we were cool. He no drink, no drugs, you know, real upfront guy. 10 years into the marriage, Sean starts drinking. Starts as a glass of wine, then a half a glass, then now it's a bottle. You know, a bottle a day or whatever. It could be just like that insidious, that you slip into these bad habits or these addictions. But that wasn't who the person was initially.
Yeah.
Or maybe the person, you know, I didn't drink, I didn't smoke, I didn't do drugs. But then later on in life, I get this person in my life that might say, hey, Joel, it's okay to smoke a joint once in a while. It's okay to have some weed once in a while. Oh, okay. And they lead you down this path that you didn't think, or hey, you know, it's okay to gamble. Who says that? It's not a sin to gamble. What are you talking about? Come on, man, we on the cruise. Live it up. Start gambling. Oh, I didn't know I had that addiction in me. Right? So now I'm on DraftKings. I'm on all this stuff. What are you doing? Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Right? Hey, you didn't know I had I know you're not supposed to say the P word, but I have a corn addiction. Rhymes with.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so, is that a word that you're not allowed to?
Well, on some platforms.
Oh, okay.
So just to be safe,
you.
know, so it rhymes with corn.
Yeah, I got you.
But it deals with adult content.
I got you.
Okay. So growing up, you had to go under your dad or your uncle's bed or in the closet to find magazines, right? Now you got it on your phone. You can see all the movies you want on your phone 24/7. So, you know, hey, I didn't know Joel had a corn addiction.
Yeah.
Right? Leave me alone. I'm good.
See, that's interesting. I don't know. I think it depends on the person, obviously, right? As we talk about the vows, it's what do the vows mean to you? Like, what do these words mean to you? Because for me, at least, like, I take everything, you know, seriously. Like, the words for me, like, if I'm not living by those words, I'm not doing it, you know? Like, why would I do that? So everything that it says, to have been told in sickness and health, like, I'm that's me. So if a person changes throughout life, to me, that's to be expected, for better or for worse. It don't matter. Even if you got a corn addiction or whatever, you get some weight, like, okay, you're a human. We're all afflicted by the same things. I get it. Now, I'll try my best to work with the person. I'll exhaust every resource until there's nothing left for the sake of the family, for me, and for that person, and for that vow. But I don't know if everyone is.
I agree with you. I'm with you on that. Because once I'm done, I'm done. I'll go to meetings with you. I'll go to counseling. I'll do whatever is necessary. What if we're the cause of the negative behavior?
In what way?
maybe we have high standards and high expectations.
Okay.
That this person, our significant other or wife, can't meet. They thought they could.
Yeah.
Most people want to buy a puppy, so you got to take care of one, right?
Yeah.
And then all the stuff go with it. Oh, 3 a.m. What? I got to take you out? What? Oh, I got to take you to the vet. You got worms? Whatever. Maybe it could be me. Maybe I thought I could deal with this woman who's ambitious, who is, goal oriented, who is physically and intellectually just amazing. And I thought, we kept up with each other, but now I'm lagging. She still has the expectations. I can't live up to them. So I start drinking, or I start doing, illicit substances, or I start gambling, because now I just feel like I can't meet these expectations anymore. Okay. So maybe I'm the cause of the sickness. So in sickness and health, I'm the one that is causing my own, or maybe I'm subliminally, causing chaos to separate. Maybe I'm the one that's undermining the relationship.
Yeah.
Because I can't keep up. I can't keep these expectations. I can't keep doing what you need me to do.
I got a question for you. Do you believe in living up to the expectations of another person? Like in a marriage, is that an obligation of the spouse to live up to the obligations of the other?
I think there's mutual obligations, right? I think there's mutual obligations. So I think there's obligations when you have kids, and I think there's obligations. So, hey, Sean is either can't, I'm not gonna put this on you.
No, yeah, I know. You
Can't or won't have intercourse with his wife.
Yeah.
Can't or just, not interested. It's not interesting anymore. Now the wife still wants to. Now, hey, we were doing it 3-4 times a day. Now Sean's like, nah, I'd rather play video games, right? That I think is kind of like an expectation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
To stay in the best physical, mental, and spiritual shape that you can.
Yeah.
Right. So hey, I'm getting out of shape. My wife's like, hey Joe, real compassionately, hey, come on, man, let's go to the gym. Let's take more walks. Hey, I made you this nice salad. Da-da-da. No, I don't want none of that. You go ahead, right? You go ahead. I'm good. Da-da-da-da. I think the expectation is that when we take those vows, that I don't undermine it by intentionally putting myself in positions to be sick or to make us poor.
Yeah.
Let's say I don't have good management skills or money. Never had. You married me, the person married me, they thought everything's cool, and then I'm going out and spending. What are you doing? Where'd you get that? Where'd you get that lamp? Oh, I was at Best, Good Buys or whatever, and I got that lamp's $200. Well, that's what we used to get. What's the big? See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you don't have similar expectations as far as money management, right? The lights get shut off. The house gets repossessed. The car gets repossessed, because we never talked about these things, or maybe we did, and I'm reneging on them. So I think there's expectations, yes, that as a person and as a couple, and then as parents, if you go even further than that, you have kids, there's expectations. You don't think our kids need to go to school? You want them homeschooled? No, I want them to be in school. I think they need to learn social skills. No, I think they, vaccines? You don't believe in vaccines? No, I think they should get vaccinated. See what I'm saying? There's these things.
Yeah, there's so many different situations there. You couldn't possibly sift through all of them to make sure that this person is it. It seems like the only thing in my experience that you can do is just have open dialogue and communication, in every aspect, as long as while you're going through the process, if there's a deviation from what you feel is an expectation that's being unmet, you need to voice that, and just be accountable as much as you can for whatever it is, even if it's you that's not living up to an expectation. I don't think I would blame that on someone else. Like, if someone's got a expectation of me that maybe we both had at one point, and just because there's a moment where I can't live up to it, I feel like I try to be accountable in that moment and just be like, all right, this is a me thing. I understand that, maybe I'm not living up to your expectation or my expectation of me, so I need to change.
I like the fact that if you're in tune with your partner, your best friend, your wife or husband or whoever, that you're able to have that that intuitiveness, that inner voice, that connection as with your soulmate, that notices something's wrong, something's off, and not be afraid to call them on it. Or as the person that is the one struggling, to be able to communicate that. Hey, I'm not doing too well. I'm not feeling that well. I got a loss of energy. Hey, do you want to go see the doctor? You know what? Maybe I should.
Yeah.
I think communication is key. I think that when you hide, when you start having secrets, when I say secrets, it could be something that, hey, your blood pressure's been high and you're keeping it to yourself. Well, you're setting yourself up for a stroke and heart attack and whatever else. Your significant other should know. It shouldn't be, oh, he just had a stroke. What? Oh, yeah, he's been coming here. He didn't tell you his blood pressure was high? No, he hid the medication or he's not taking the medication. Yeah. See, I think you have an obligation to one another to communicate things that are going to affect both of you.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Figuring out a way to be supportive for sure. Because I can see in a situation like that where someone is hiding something, it's more than likely for a reason. Either they feel, self-conscious or embarrassed about it, or maybe you've positioned yourself as someone that they don't feel like they can bring that information to. So again, for me, I don't know. I'm so big on accountability, man. It's like the only thing that I know, because what else is there besides for accountability? Like expectation of other people, sorta. But the moment that someone else deviates from whatever you had expected of them, for me, I don't know. I just go back.
Well, as long as there's compassion, I think with accountability. I think accountability without compassion is just punitive. Because if I have expectations, or we have expectations, and for some reason you can't live up to them for whatever reason, or I can't, what's wrong? What's going on? Versus, why do you take out the trash? You were supposed to take out, that's your role. Mm-hmm. You were supposed to do the cars this week. You didn't do the cars. You were supposed to cook, meal prep for the week. You didn't cook for the compassion part, the accountability, but then the compassion.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe I need to take this over. Mm-hmm. Maybe you're doing too much. Maybe you need help.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
So you can hold people accountable, but if you don't have compassion to go along with the accountability, it's kind of mean, I think.
Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah. I probably, been that, because I am that, where I'm always holding myself accountable. I probably have been that person where I'm holding people to an unrealistic standard for sure. So appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, I know how I was raised. I know who I am. I don't expect anybody to be the female version of Joel. I expect them to be the female version of who they are, to complement who I am.
I like that. You're going to get a lot of fans for that one, Joel. I think you're going to get a lot of fans for that. I wanted to ask you a question. Do you believe in soulmates? Because you mentioned soulmates. Do you believe that there's a...
I do. I do believe in soulmates, but I also believe that in that poem, Season, Reason, and Lifetime, I do believe that we can be attracted or be with people in our lives for a season, and they're here to teach us something, and for something we do or they do, then we break apart. A reason, they have a reason in our lives, and lifetime. I think that you could have somebody that encapsulates all three, but I don't, in my case, both situations, both marriages were learning experiences. Both brought different things to the marriage, and I learned different things from both of my wives. Okay. So for me, I think that I did what I was supposed to do. I was with who I was supposed to be. I believe that God, that He helped me make the best of even bad situations in certain, relationships. And, I thank Him for that. And I feel the better for it. And I feel, well accomplished in a lot of the things, because even the bad things are teaching moments if you let them be.
Yeah, all lessons. Yeah, I try to look at life like that too. Like, It's not happening to me, it's happening for me kind of vibe. Because again, accountability, like what else can you do? Any other way, you're just going to be, sad and depressed at literally everything.
And you know what? Sometimes I am, and I think that's okay. Sometimes I am. Why'd you do this to me? Why me? Why me?
See, that makes sense right there. I think you just pointed out, I think that's probably why I'm so big on the accountability part. And maybe this could be some selfishness too, but because I don't look to that, I'm always, it's all me, like I'm the center of my world. It makes sense. I don't have any go-to. Anytime something happens, I'm not looking to someone else, basically, so that makes sense. Yeah.
Well, not someone else, something else. And yeah, so I just feel like that I serve a big God and I'm accountable to God for what I do. I'm not accountable for what you do or what my girlfriend, wife, daughter, whoever. It's one per casket. So I try to do the best that I can do because I can justify to God, okay, God, I tried. I did this, I did this, I did this. Now he might say, keep going, keep trying. I'm like, I don't want to. I don't think it's worth it. And he's like, well, I didn't ask you that.
Yeah.
I didn't ask you that. So that's where my strength and my accountability starts with God. And then it trickles down to everybody else. And I have to lead by example. I have to lead by example. I cannot be the leader of a household. I can't be the parent that I need to be if I'm not doing what I need to do. And even when I do what I need to do, I have to look back and I made mistakes. I tried to hold people to a higher standard that they weren't capable of being at certain times in their life. And they didn't communicate that they weren't able to either. They didn't communicate, I can't. Or maybe they did and I didn't either hear them or want to hear them.
Is that not an act of love, though? Holding someone to the highest standard? What makes someone incapable?
Because certain people, I think, just are incapable. If everybody was capable of greatness, everybody would be great. There are certain people that have been through certain things emotionally that they haven't resolved or healed from. So they look like a turtle. That exterior looks solid and strong, but inside it's not.
Yeah.
So we see the outside, the exterior, and say, this person is strong, this person is vibrant, this person is done. Inside, if that were true, so many people wouldn't be unaliving themselves. That we think, or we look and say, what happened?
Yeah.
They were at the top of their game. They had everything going for them. Why did that lady who was, a top model and, former Miss Universe and all this, step off a 28-story building? She had everything going for her. But did she, though? We can think that other people have it all, and those people don't, because either they don't have a higher power, they lose hope, and when you lose hope, what's left? If you don't have hope for yourself and what you can do in life, what's left? Like, why are you living? Like, people will think that. And so that's why, for me, it starts with a higher power, because that's who gives me hope and strength. When everybody else deserts me, nobody calls me, nobody wants to talk to me, you know what? He's here. God's with me. So when everybody abandons me, I'm like, okay, well, you know what? It's me and you, God, until we find another tribe, right? Until we find another village.
So in spite of the vows, to having whole sickness and health, in spite of the vows, you do personally obviously feel that there are situations where we can cut.
Let me tell you something, man. I've been depressed. Where I can hardly get out of bed.
Yeah, same. I've been there.
I wouldn't be good to be with anybody at that point. As far as in a relationship. Because I can't do nothing for you. Yeah. I can't do nothing for, just imagine, when you can't do nothing for yourself, you can hardly dress yourself, you can hardly think for yourself, that your mind's cloudy, you're just in a, you don't even know if you want to live or die. You need a partner that's going to help you. Hopefully a believer that's going to say, I'm going to deal with your BS because we can be mean. I know I can be mean when I don't want to be bothered. And so somebody's going to sift through that and ignore that meanness, that condescension that comes from depression and anger and irritability that goes with depression, and say, I don't care what you say. Get out of bed. We're going for a walk. I don't care what you say. Eat this. You better finish by the time I come back. Somebody that is strong enough when we're not.
Yeah, you'd like to think that you married that person.
I would hope to think that, because if not,
Yeah.
it's going to be a long life
Vows
with
don't
this
mean-
person.
Yeah, vows don't mean anything at that point. Yeah. Yeah, for
But
me.
a lot of people think about it. Yeah, you'll say the words. In sickness and health, for richer, for poor. You still with me when we homeless, babe? Nah, I ain't signed up for that.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? I got cancer, and I got rectal cancer and this and that. You still with me, changing diapers and all that? I ain't signed up for that.
It's conditional.
For some people, like I can't tell you what it would be like for me if I was married to somebody who decomped, had like Lou Gehrig's disease or dementia or Alzheimer's, and my life is relegated to caregiving because I had to do it for my mom, my dad, and my dad's sister, my aunt. And I helped raise my granddaughter, who's 15 now, my eldest granddaughter. I didn't sign up for any of that, but I actually did.
Yeah.
When I became a son, a grandfather, and as a Christian. But I didn't think, when you think sickness, I didn't think that was going to happen. I didn't think, as a caretaker, like cleaning up someone who defecates on themselves, I wasn't all about that. Being there for someone who doesn't want to get out of bed and trying to cheer them up when I'm miserable. But I know that they need that. I didn't sign. Where's that? That's in part, like I wasn't married to them. These were family members.
Yeah.
But they did it for me. When they raised me, they made sacrifices. And that's why I wanted to make the sacrifices on the back end when they needed someone to maintain their quality of life and dignity as they, transitioned. For my granddaughter, if I didn't do it, who was going to do it? That she was going to be with strangers. Strangers were going to be raising her. She'd be in the hands of strangers to potentially, abuse her.
Yeah, for sure.
So I worked a full-time job. I took care of my parents and my aunt, and I took care of my granddaughter at the same time. My life was put on hold for like 9 years in doing this because there was very little I could move forward with. But it's in doing that, it made them happy. So in essence, even though I was exhausted, I was still happy because I was serving them in a capacity that God expected for me.
Yeah. That's good that you have that. I don't think I could do that. You ever heard of I think it's called, I don't know, caregiver's exhaust or whatever. You probably know the words where people get burnt out doing things like that's good.
Yeah, it's called
like
compassion fatigue.
Okay, maybe see
Compassion
like
fatigue. I experienced that.
Yeah, because you said your life was put on hold for 9 years. That's a long time to be put on hold for something that.
But you don't know what you can do until you have to do it. Sometimes. I know you've been in a situation you're like, oh, I didn't think I could do this. Yes, we're here.
Uh-huh.
But you did it.
Yeah.
And you're doing it and you're progressing with it. It's the same thing. If your wife tanks mentally or physically or both, you may have to do something and then you look up and you're like, man, I've been doing this for 7 years taking care of her. Or conversely.
But I'm in.
But yeah, and conversely, you hope she's going to do 7 years for you if you need it.
Yeah.
Or for your kid.
Well.
Or for you, right.
Yeah, that's those type of things. This is one thing for someone that may or may not be there for you, but for your kid, come on, man.
No,
but I get it.
There are people that abandon their kids.
But again, in my opinion, I feel like if you're not there for the whole ride as far as marriage goes, don't do it. Just don't do it.
But think about it. You never know.
Yeah.
There are people that are being abused. Should they stay in a marriage where they're physically and emotionally being abused?
Yeah.
Okay. So, but that's not what you signed up for. It might not have happened until 7 years in.
Yeah.
This is people change, man.
Yeah,
People can change.
Abuse is the obvious. We got to finish this, you know.
Okay, what about adultery?
See that one? I don't know about that one. I personally, you know, I'd rather hope to never go through it, but I don't think that should be a definite. We got to cut ties.
Okay, no, I agree with you.
Because again, if you're not in the game for every aspect of the game, don't get in the game.
Stealing.
You know? Yeah.
Stealing. What about stealing?
From me or just in general?
From you and both of you. Like you go in to count, you had 20,000, now you got 4.
Huh. And that's a tough one. I guess it all depends. Sounds like what will be the point of that? So yeah, it's it's
well because they might have an addiction they're fessing up to.
Oh well, see something that's good. I'm glad you elaborate a little bit because something like that, yeah, I'm still in. You know, I would say I'm almost in for everything outside of I forget what was the one.
The what's the name? Either the
abuse.
Abuse.
Yeah, abuse. Yeah, that's the only thing is like you can't put your hands on it. You know, that's a.
Well, there's emotional abuse.
Yeah. Yeah, even that I would take. I guess for me, it's just all physical. You know, because someone can. People probably emotionally abuse people daily and don't even realize that they're doing it. You know, physical abuse. You know, that's we're all aware of that.
Physical abuse has the signs. Emotional abuse goes sometimes with it.
Go ahead, explain.
Okay, so if I'm beating you up physically, right? Okay, so now emotionally, how you feeling? Psychologically, how you feeling? You looking to come home after work?
Yeah, yeah, I get it.
Okay, you looking to go to sleep? Because maybe while you were asleep, I was clocking you.
Yeah.
Okay, so right, hey, you got I physically did stuff to you badly when you were good, and I did it to you when you were bad. What's the message there? When you're good, you still get hurt. When you're bad, you still get hurt. Right?
Yeah.
So what's that do to you emotionally and mentally?
Oh yeah, you damage you.
Yeah.
Abuse.
Yeah.
Beaten.
Yeah. Or what if I just threaten you all the time?
Yeah, I guess there's so many different levels to threatening too, because it doesn't even have to be threatening physical.
No.
It can be threatening anything.
I'm gonna cheat on you.
Withholding.
I'm gonna cheat on you.
Yeah.
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 Do it again. You know what? You suck as a man.
Yeah.
You can't even do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go get somebody else that's a real man.
Yeah, it all depends.
Maybe you're dating Respucia and you're Norbit. and Norbit, go down there, Norbit. I ain't cheat on you. You didn't see nothing. Right? Whatever. There's emotional abuse. There's physical abuse. You just don't know. You just don't know. People say they go into it. I hope you're not going into it thinking you're going to get divorced. But then these storms happen. What's helping you and them get through the storm?
That's a shit storm. The one that you just did. No, it's things like that. Certain things. I guess anytime that I would say that the tie of love or respect probably is gone, and I think we'd have to consider parting ways.
Or at least temporarily. Maybe separation, and with the potential of healing separately. And then maybe trying to come back together. Because there are people that have gone through some really bad stuff in their marriages and are still together.
Yeah.
They found a way to make it work.
Yeah. My childhood wounds would not allow me to come back to that for sure. And that's me being honest about my own.
But that's where healing comes in. That's where going to therapy lays your wounds out there.
Yeah.
For someone you trust, a professional who can be objective and is not going to downgrade you or throw it up in your face when you disclose some of the things you've been through.
Yeah.
And they're going to give you the coping skills and the healing strategies to be able to deal. So you just never know what's going to be thrown at you, because you may have to go to therapy to deal with something in the future if you want to still be married.
Yeah. Do you think that you, in a situation where you have to go to therapy to have someone acknowledge the feeling of love and respect for you, you think that there's a value in something like that?
I think there's a value in having an objective person to talk to who you don't have to worry about demeaning you or laughing at you or thinking you're a punk or you're less of a man or less of a person for what you've been through, and can say, I hear you. I actually hear you. I hear what you're saying. I hear the trauma you've been through, and I want to help you. Let's look at strategies and ways that we can get you to where you need to be a better man, a better father, a better husband.
Yeah, I could see how. Yeah, I guess you're right. If you want it to be salvageable, you'll go through almost anything to make it.
Even if not for this marriage, if and I'm not speaking anything bad, but if, let's say, this marriage didn't last, the therapy you can get based on the trauma or anything you've been through that's unresolved is going to help you be better for this marriage, the next marriage, relationships outside of everything, every part of your life, every relationship you're in with mom, with cousins, with friends, whatever. If you're made better mentally, emotionally, how can you not be a better person for everyone that you come in contact with?
Yeah.
And a potential testimony to others who are not getting the help they need when they need it because of the stigma or because of the guardedness or the walls they have up.
Yeah. I'm so big on respect for me. I guess there are certain deal breakers even for me. I thought I didn't have any, but that's up there. And I don't even know if respect is the right word, because I feel a little bit different about that too. But in a relationship like that, at least, respect, love, understanding. Because I don't know, just like, why would you, if you're engaged with someone for many years and you give them so much of yourself, who would really want to have to?
Do you ever see why?
Someone that?
You ever see why people, they go off and they just pew the whole family?
Oh yeah, I've heard of stories.
A lot of stories.
Yeah.
A lot of stories.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Is it mostly women or men that you see the stories?
I'm guessing men.
I see mostly men.
Okay,
There was somebody near us going through a divorce. And a lot of times, I don't think men handle breakups that well, because I don't think we have the support systems that women have. And I don't think that we're as emotionally intelligent and savvy with how to handle certain emotions. Because, if we're all hanging out, me, you, and some fellas hanging out, and I'd be like, yeah, I got rid of, Barbara, I got rid of Shakira. You like, you know what they say? What would they say?
I don't know.
Finally, you've been talking about her all this time, man. I'm glad she's gone. Now we can have some fun. You always sitting around crying about her, right?
I get what you're saying. Men lacking support. Yeah.
Empathy.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm not going to come cry, because we're afraid to cry in front of one another, right? A lot of times. Like, me and you might not be, but you go to the phone, and you be like, she left me, man.
Stop being.
Yeah, stop being little B, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Where women would be like, oh, that's okay, babe. You were better than that, right? But men would be like, man, get out of here with the tears.
You're right about that. It's because we have no capacity to deal with the emotions because we've never dealt with them. We don't have the tools.
We weren't taught.
Yeah.
Our dad, I know my dad wasn't crying about much.
Yeah.
So,
I don't even know who my dad is.
Yeah. Yeah, so still, it's like, man up, right? Your uncle, man up. You don't have no time for tears, man. You crying about. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you're right.
That's what I'm talking about. So that's some of the things that you have to, when I'm talking about mentally and being a better father, a better man, a better husband, and just a better son, everything.
Yeah.
Being in touch with, so there's this, the stigma. Sometimes women will be like, oh, he's too sensitive. Like, if we're too sensitive, he's weak.
That's a problem.
He's a simp. If he's too strong, oh, he's abusive. He's
Toxic.
Yeah, exactly. So we got to walk a balance beam. You got to be sensitive and compassionate, but you got to be tough too, because they want, you to be able to protect them and all that.
Yeah.
It's tough for a man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I imagine for women too, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right about that.
But see, women, like I said, emotionally, I think a lot of women are so much better off than men because of their support systems.
Yeah.
I don't read a lot about women pew-pewing everybody in the house. There's a dude, like I was trying to say before, that lived nearby. He pew-pewed his wife, left the kids, traveled like 20 miles to go pew-pew her family.
Yeah.
The dude at New Orleans, Going through a divorce, $40,000 in credit card debt that I saw online. I don't know how substantiated,
Yeah.
but I just want to say that's what I read.
Yeah.
Married 3 times.
Going through it.
But when he got divorced, he was married in each time the next year. He got divorced like 16, got married in 17.
Never healed from.
Never healed,
Yeah.
but just kept moving on. So you take that hurt people hurt people.
Yeah.
You take that with you. You take your baggage with you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So why not go to therapy? Take some time for yourself, go to therapy and learn why you keep picking who you do. I went to therapy. It helped me. Why do I keep picking who I do? Why am I doing certain things? Who am I looking for? And why am I looking for that type of person?
Yeah.
And it was helpful. Because sometimes we realize we're just in it. When you're in it, sometimes, when you're in the game and then you walk out of the game and you get to see, you get to see on film or whatever on the tablets how you could have done something differently or where the other options were. It's almost like that.
Yeah, I can see why men get angry. Again, having no tools, no resources, no outlet, they internalize so much of it. I imagine that frustration, that anger, it becomes so physical, so painful.
I think it turns to rage. I think men sometimes perseverate, right?
I don't even know what
Perseverate means you don't let go of certain things.
Okay.
You just keep going with it. So it's like, okay, Sean punched me in the face. So later tonight, Sean punched me in the face. Later this week, that man punched me in the face. Sean punched me in the face.
Yeah.
I won't let it go. If you never let it go, then sometimes it builds up, and then so it's almost like these blocks. So it builds into rage.
Yeah.
And then it might build into revenge.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. And so much of some men's value is based upon what they can do, their performance. So when they get rejected, it feels like it's them, like whatever the situation is, that's probably becomes all on them and they just, blow up.
Think about it.
I can't relate.
If I'm holding in my emotions, right, I'm this, vault. I'm this vault. And I open the vault for this woman. And I've never really revealed this to anybody else, but because we're married, I'm letting you in on all my childhood stuff and everything that I've been through. And then later on, you're like, I'm divorcing you. Wait, you're divorcing me? I just told you everything about me. I opened up to you. I've never opened up to anybody like this. What are you talking about? Well, I found somebody else. That could be.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Unless you're getting help.
Yeah, that's hitting the switch.
Whew.
For sure.
Woo!
Yeah, I could see that, especially if you're not a whole, healthy, mentally stable person.
Emotionally, I gave you everything. Financially, I've given you everything. Time-wise, I work double shifts. I work 2 jobs for you. And you're going to leave?
Yeah.
Now, I think the greater the investment, the greater chance of somebody's potentially snapping.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's interesting. You're right about that. It is mostly men that do that. Don't know why that is. I guess, like you said, the investment. They feel like they put so much into it.
I've given you my life.
It's me or nobody or nothing else.
You hear that all the time, right?
Yeah.
If it's not me, it ain't going to be nobody else.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Now, think about that mindset.
So dangerous.
Yeah. Well, I'm scared for, and men can be victims of that too.
Yeah. You realize that how many men are predators? Or let me say can be, or predatory, or practice predatory tactics. Just a lot
Like what? Give me examples.
Like what we were just talking about right there. Like anyone that's willing to say something like that to a person.
Oh.
Okay.
And that type of
I was
violence.
growing up, to be honest. When you're younger, you see how men operate as far as how they go about getting things. And it's real animal kingdom-ish, real predatory. Some of them can be in a way that's just, I'm thankful that I don't have a daughter, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would love if
let
I
me,
could.
Let me tell you something. Don't.
That is an aspect of life.
Your son is maybe not but is still open season
Oh yeah, for sure.
for predators.
Yeah, definitely. I get that.
Molestation and all that is can be an equal opportunity situation.
But men, are typically
Oh, no, there's
predators.
well, I think in a lot of ways you read about, but no, I think there's a decent amount of female
Yeah.
also that do things. They might not get caught as much, or you might not read about it as much. But again, they might do it, and it doesn't serve. It might not surface for years. If something's done to you as a kid, you might not even realize what was done to you that was wrong. So that's tough.
Yeah, that's interesting. See, I've never been in situations like, maybe because I never hang around in girl groups, but I've really never personally seen the predatory nature of a female necessarily. Have you?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Well, I worked in behavioral health
Okay, yeah,
hospitals for 35 years.
What
Yeah.
about in your own personal life? Have you ever seen, like, how can I describe? I'm trying to describe without it sounding like terrible or horrific. Like, I'll give you an example that's pretty basic. Say, for instance, me growing up, I chose to never have engaged, sexually with a woman that I thought was inebriated, or possibly was unaware, the fool of what she was doing. That's me. Other people do it a different way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's like a tactic for some. Like, let me get this person to the point where they can't make a decision. That's predatory shit. To me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm sure women do that too, but it's not,
Not
necessarily
it doesn't
the
have to
norm.
be in the obvious
like
way
something
that
like
you're
that.
talking
Yeah.
about. It could be, touching someone inappropriately as a kid. It could be,
of course.
yeah, things like that. Could be, where you read about something like maybe a female teacher engaging in intercourse with a 12-year-old or 10-year-old.
A lot of that shit.
Well, I don't know about a lot, but it gets publicized, so
There's a lot of it.
It could seem like a lot. No, it could. I don't know the numbers. You know what I'm saying? I mean, number-wise, when we see stuff in the media or social media, we can think it happens all the time when it really doesn't. It could be it's just publicized. Meaning, number-wise, out of 20 million kids, how many actually get essayed by? It could be like this much.
Yeah.
But that's some of the things how it could happen.
Yeah. I guess it's all relative.
It is. It really is.
Like shit.
It really is.
Like,
because
more than one is a lot. You know what I mean? In my mind.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah. No, don't get me wrong. I don't think anybody should have to endure that. But that's how, not in the obvious, intercourse way necessarily, but touching.
More subtle.
And yes.
I got you.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Yeah, I guess, you're right. Well, the men way is more, it's like more out there, more, in your face kind of. Yeah, at least in my experience. So that's what I meant about that. Kind of deviated a little bit, but I don't even know how we got there.
To predatory. But no, we were talking about abuse. We were talking about things that people suffer sometimes through in a marriage, unresolved trauma like that. You might not ever come up against it. Okay, so if I marry someone and they have unresolved trauma, like maybe sexual trauma from childhood, it may be triggered later on in the marriage.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's going on? And then they might tell me. I was with someone at a barbecue, and they were essayed by the aunt's husband.
Okay.
I was never told until we were at the barbecue. And then they related it to me, because they were in the corner crying. Now this guy that's sitting right across the table from us, essayed this, this person I was with, in a relationship with.
Yeah.
But they had been made to go to all the family stuff, and the family just said, oh, you just need to forget it.
That's abuse right there.
You need to forget it. It never happened. We're not going to ruin your aunt's marriage. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but I wasn't privy to it.
Unfortunate.
So it could come up at any time. People could be triggered about unresolved things at any time, and then you wonder why the reaction for something, Or it could be something new, like you said, maybe something from childhood comes up and you're like triggered, and then all of a sudden you're not the same.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know about you, but I feel like most of the traumas or the negative responses that we have to things happen to us from our childhood. You know, like, do you have many things that you respond negatively to that happen to you in your adult life?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
for me, a lot of it's anytime I'm, say, use the word triggered by something, it normally reflects back to my childhood, typically.
Well, you know, we all have different lives and different experiences. And so it could be anything. It could be like racism, where,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, forever.
I was at a radio station. I was talking to some young ladies. This play-by-play guy for a top NFL team was there. He was talking to them, but they were paying attention to me. And so I walked around the corner, and he took in, and I was young. I was probably like 20, maybe 21. And he was in his like late 40s, early 50s. And he took, and he slammed me against the wall and said, "Don't you ever do that again." I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "Show me up." I said, "What do you mean show you up? You see me trying to talk to them. Why are you trying to talk to them when I'm trying to talk to them?" Ooh. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
Predator.
well, again, so when I think back of that, yeah, that sometimes I can think back like, wow, that's deep, you know, that happened.
Yeah.
Or, you know, some there's, as an adult, there are things that happen that I can reflect back on at any time, depending on, let's say, like I said, you punch me in the face, right? I could be triggered by that and say, well, like a few years ago, some dude punched me in the face, just like, you know.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. That's interesting. Yeah, I don't have.
So as an adult, there have been things that have happened that were, you know, shocking. But at the same time, have I healed from them? Yeah.
Yeah, see, that part is, I think, because like as a child, you don't heal from the trauma. You know, it's just stored with you. You carry it up to that very moment, and then it's triggered by something that someone may say or do. But as an adult, even if you haven't healed from it, you've at least like maybe had a process or understanding of the emotion to the point where you're not carrying it. Like you might be able to reflect on it and say,
I think
remember
people,
this happening,
I think
but
people,
it's not like
I think,
trauma where
I
it's
think people
stored.
carry stuff every day. Yeah. I think people carry stuff from adulthood every day.
Yeah,
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah.
that's interesting.
I think that there's stuff that happens. Not everybody. I can't speak for everybody. I don't like to generalize. But
Yeah.
hey, you know, somebody gets fired from their job, right? And it was, and they don't feel it was fair. Okay. They might say, you know, that might be such a horrible thing, or come at such a horrible time, or it was done in such a disrespectful manner that they might carry that. Like I said, they might carry that around. Okay, boom. I'm going to put it right here.
Yeah.
Okay, so now they go for different hirings and they don't get a job or whatever. So if you don't get a job for a while, or you're without money, or it causes you to be homeless, or any kind of, that starts to grow. That starts to feel heavier. That firing, because it was unfair, and now it's cost you a lot in your life.
Yeah.
You know, it might cost you your family. It might cost you a lot.
Yeah.
Your house, your car, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So things like that. People that gamble and lose everything. People that have addictions issues and you know, almost die or lose their family, their friends, whatever, you know, because of it, lose their homes. Victims of fires, you know, and natural disasters. As an adult, that could have a lasting effect.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's interesting. You would think by the time you got to an adult age where something that you would say like a firing, you would have developed the skills and resource to process that so it doesn't land as a traumatic event. You know what I'm saying? Like as a child, you have no tools, no skills. So if something that's happening to you externally as an adult that you're carrying as a trauma, to me, that would signify that you need to do work. Like there's work that you need to do.
I think everybody needs to do work. Yeah. You know, I think, you know, whatever because there's divorces that happen. People that might need to do work.
Yeah,
to get through it.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be a trauma. You know what I'm saying?
what's a trauma to you might not be a trauma to me, and what's a trauma to me might not be a trauma to you.
Yeah.
That's how different it could be. So there are some people that it's not a trauma to, and then there's other people that it is. And then there's other people that won't admit it is,
Yeah.
or might not realize it is, until it starts affecting how they move.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. To not have the ability to, I guess, just not have everything end up as being a traumatic event. It seems like that would be a hard way to.
Well, not
get
everything,
through life.
but certain things, bang, 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 at various times in our adult lives, could be traumatic.
Yeah. Not
Loss of a parent.
Yeah. Well,
Loss of a parent, right?
that one is probably going to be traumatic for everyone.
Okay. Or for some, it's not.
Yeah.
Maybe you didn't love your mom.
Well, here, let's go back to this. To people that are in the same situation, like if you love your mom or whatever parent, to most people, well, no, I'm saying probably to 100% of people that lose a mother that they love, that's going to be traumatic.
Yeah, it
And
could
if
be.
you didn't, obviously situational.
Well, then I guess it almost it depends on the definition of trauma. Almost, what is really a trauma? Is it something that happens a negative thing that happens in your life, or is trauma something that's negative that is difficult to get over or to heal from?
Yeah, that part.
Okay.
Yeah, which was be interesting. It would just seem like, how can you get through life if okay, not everything, but if a lot of things are impacting you in a traumatic way.
So you might have two dysfunctional people married, right? Two people that are, have a lot of trauma and they get married. Two people that have bipolar disorder get married. Two people who have addictions issues, they get married, right? And they're not necessarily healthy,
Yeah.
right? They might not be. You might have two people that physically aren't healthy that get married, so they're going to have challenges. They already have challenges. Now there's two people with challenges, so maybe they can help each other, or maybe it's just double the amount of work.
Those marriages ain't working.
You don't know though.
We pretty much we got a pretty good idea. Two people that meet that are just like, how's that? How's that in what situation would that work?
Well, I think God can do anything. God intervenes. I think He can do anything. He can heal two people that have addictions as you. He can heal two people. If you look at what's it called?
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
That movie with something with the Fault in the Stars or something, where the two cancer patients fall in love with one another.
Yeah.
They had a good time together as a couple until they passed away.
Yeah.
So
That's funny. It's like we kind of take these situations and put them in different things, because that's different than two people that are alcoholics,
Yeah, oh, definitely.
Yeah.
In a way, maybe one gets sober and they help the other get sober.
Yeah.
Or maybe they both
Yeah.
have an epiphany moment and they both go to that we can't keep doing this.
Yeah.
They hit bottom and they both say, let's get help, and they get help.
Yeah. But the likeliness of that happening is not high. That's why they tell these people that they're both experiencing these situations don't come together. So statistically, it doesn't work out. I'm a numbers guy. So yeah, that's it. We went all over the place.
Yeah, we did.
How should we wrap it up? We're going to wrap it up with a question, right?
Do you still believe in the institution of marriage?
Do you still believe into the institution of marriage? Well,
do you? Essentially, if you're married, and you were to get divorced or you were to lose your spouse, would you want to get remarried? And if you're not married, would you want to get married?
That's a good question. I'm going to answer it like you're asking me. I'm going to say no. I probably wouldn't marry again. If my current doesn't work, I'm not doing that twice.
Start